Have you ever wondered if those supplements that are sitting on store shelves are really doing anything for you? In this episode, we're diving into the world of personalized healthcare with Vadim Fedotov, the co-founder and CEO of Bioniq. Vadim breaks down why most off-the-shelf supplements are not worth your money. He talks about how personalized formulas can revolutionize your health and the incredible role that AI and micronutrients play in optimizing your body's performance. By the end of this episode, you're going to have a clear understanding of how to take a smarter, more effective approach to supplementation and your overall health. Before we dive in, if you're listening on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify, make sure you hit the follow button. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit like and subscribe down below. Also, you can schedule a free 30-minute health consultation with me by going to nickcarrier.com and selecting a time that works best for you. I'm going to help you get a clear plan for how to achieve your goals of losing body fat and or getting stronger. Book your call today by going to nickcarrier.com. All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Best You Podcast. Today, I am really excited to be joined by Vadim Fedotov. Today, we're going to dive into supplements, and really excited because we've had some conversations on the podcast about supplements before, but never have we dove as deeply as we are going to dive today. Vadim is the founder and creator of a company called Bioniq, and they basically do personalization with their supplementation. And I know kind of your background is you originally were a big time basketball player. You played for the German national team. Then you moved to the US for university, and you went to University of Buffalo where you played 4 years. And then you kind of got offered to play overseas, but you had 4 ACL tears, and therefore you were like, I think I'm good. I've had 1 ACL tear, and that was plenty enough for me, so I can't even imagine having 4. But then back in 2019 is when you officially started Bioniq, and so I kind of really want to dive right into supplements. There are a lot of great supplements out there. There are a lot of terrible supplements out there. There's everywhere in between, and I think that maybe one of the most common errors that people do when it comes to supplements is they pick a random supplement based off of what they heard somebody else recommend, and then they pick a supplement that is just off the shelf, off the counter at a regular drugstore, if you will. So what are the downfalls of some typical off-the-shelf supplements, and what are the downfalls of just kind of taking that approach, just doing what somebody else is doing and taking a regular one off the shelf?
There's a couple. First of all, Nick, thanks for having me. There's a couple of things that people need to understand. The reason why supplements have a bad rep is because supplements, the way people normally take them, as you said, off the shelf based on recommendation from somebody else, they cannot work. It's impossible to work because every single body is unique. So at Bioniq, we've been doing blood testing for the last 6 years since launching the company. Now we have the largest proprietary database with over 7 million data points. We did clinical trials on 954 Olympic athletes. We've never seen the same blood results with different people. So every single person has always been different. So given the fact that every single person is different, every single person requires different supplementation and different dosages. Now, people think, is that important? Well, it is important when you go into the store and you buy a bottle of something and it says take 2 pills. Well, take 2 pills for every single person means different things for a 40-year-old athlete, for a 20-year-old girl, for a 60-year-old senior citizen, or for a child. The way that supplements companies work, there's actually 2 extremes there. One extreme is it's a multivitamin that should be safe enough for a child to intake without causing any harm. Well, if you take it, that means that most likely it doesn't cause any effect either. Or it's the other way, where it's like the reason when I was playing Division I basketball and I was not allowed to go to a drugstore to take any sort of supplements is because there's no FDA approval, so they can put in anything they want, and most likely I get doping banned for it because there's stuff in there that I didn't want to buy. As of today, one of the largest supplement companies in the world is getting crucified because 70% of their ingredients are not on the label. Mm-hmm. So the reason why people are so hesitant about supplementation, have certain doubts about it, or buy things that other people recommend, is just because the efficacy of today's product on a non-personalized basis is so low. A very good example from our side is, and the good thing about Bioniq is because we do blood tests before you take the supplements, then you receive the supplements based on the blood test, and then you redo the blood test 3 months later, people can actually see what the efficacy is, what the absorption levels is of the product they're receiving. So when women come to Bionic, majority of them are taking iron supplementation because majority of the women population has iron deficiencies. 82% of the people who come to us who already take supplementation are still suboptimal, although they've been taking supplementation for the entirety of the time. So you know that the current system is broken because either the absorption levels are too low or the ingredients are wrong. So what we're trying to tell people is, hey, if you take supplements because you're trying to support your mental well-being, because you believe you're doing something good for your body, please do. It's a great placebo effect, it works. But if you actually want to change your blood chemistry and optimize your blood values, then you need to do something that is personalized to you and your goals. And then you can't just get around with off-the-shelf products.
Yeah, no, I love it. Everybody's bodies are so different. Like you said, height, weight, gender. I mean, there's just the high level things, but then with regards to what your nutrient deficiencies are, what your actual goals are, what your symptoms are, and everything like that. What I really like about y'all's website is you guys have right off the bat, you can like take this quiz where it's like 40 different questions all about you and your experiences and your lifestyle and stuff like that. And then it essentially takes all of that into account and provides you kind of a recommendation based off of that quiz. And I would assume additionally, taking that next step of actually getting the blood work would even be further personalized or whatnot. But talk to us about like, what are some of the most important things to analyze when you're looking at a potential client to determine like what needs to, what are the things that they need from a supplement standpoint? Like what needs to be in their blend, if you will?
So first of all, I'm going to say something that might sound ridiculous, but it's unfortunately the truth. When you just discussed the questionnaire that which you do with any of the Bionic products, there's 2 questions that we ask that not a single other company in the market asks: is your height and your weight. So Bionic is the only company in the market that will ask you for your height and weight. The reason for that is because we can actually dosage your supplementation towards your height and weight. Do you understand that everybody else gives you the same pill form, regardless if you weigh 260 like I do, or 160 like some female user?
Well, and it's crazy because that no other supplement company does that, because that's one of the first things that you think about when it comes to your macronutrients. Like with your overall nutrition intake, you think, okay, what's your height, what's your weight?
Exactly. When you talk about protein, you're talking about grams per kilogram or per pound. When you talk about supplements, it's 2 pills off the shelf. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. So in terms of what the base, the foundation is, who are you? What's your height? What's your weight? How active are you? What's your nutritional intake, right? Based on that, that's probably already 70% differentiations between everything else. And now comes the rest. So now comes the foundational part. Okay, when we talk about supplementation, are we talking about immunity like vitamin D and vitamin C? Are we talking about cognitive power like vitamin B? Are we talking about recovery like amino acids? Are we talking about sleep improvement like magnesium, melatonin? Like all those things, they matter depending on your lifestyle. If you're very, very active, then it's more about recovery. If you're less active, then it's more about the support functions to get you to the point that you could be active in the future. If you're becoming more and more brain foggish, that means probably your vitamin B levels are lower and need support on that side of things. So there's a lot of complexity here. The reason why, again, as of today, with over 160,000 people, we've never had anybody receive the same supplementation formula twice. Because not only are everybody's different, you are different several times per year. Depending on your traveling, your stress levels, your activity levels, your diets, you're different around Christmas time than you are when you're preparing yourself for summer season. So the body changes, the approach changes, and supplementation changes. So the way we work is there's 120 components, and based on the questionnaire or the blood test, you will be selected the ones that your body needs at this given moment. So on average, around 40, 48, 40, 50, and then you see the dosages for it. But again, as I said, that changes over time. And that's the important part. The product evolves together with you, together with your needs, and together with your goals. So to answer your question in terms of, hey, what does the body needs most? Depends what your body state is right now, what your goals are right now. If you take a step backwards and be like, hey, what's the supplementation you could recommend for most people? That's a different kind of conversation. I can tell you, hey, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium is important. Like you can take that approach. But if you're talking about really optimizing you as a user, the only way is possible by knowing more about you and knowing what your goals are.
Right, 100%. And I think that's one of the things I didn't mention in the beginning is like supplementation. And I would assume you would agree is like, if you're eating like fast food for all of your meals, it's like you don't start with supplementation. Like you start with nutrition. Like supplementation is what allows you to take things to a next level. I'm actually just curious from your experience. You said that you have never given like the same formula to two different people with over 940 tests or whatever. Have you guys ever done twins or identical twins? And I guess the question.
Yes, we did. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. We had this one of the launch parties in London. We had this huge influencer base, and there were those Instagram sports model twins, like fitness influencers, 25-year-old guys, live together, eat together, work out together. Completely different everything. Like they couldn't be more different. It's just incredible. Like that was like the eye-opening moment where it's just like, guys, it doesn't work like this. So you're fully right. First of all, first and foremost, the disclaimer is supplementation, as the word says, isn't supplement. It's in addition to something. It's in addition to your nutrient. We always say 70% of your health is nutrition, then it's activity level, then it's sleep, and then we can get into supplementation, mental well-being, and all those kind of things. But the foundation is that if you can't eat, you can't have a bad diet and take supplements and expect results. It doesn't work like this. You need to have a decent diet with supplementation to make it even better, and then make sure you're active and you recover. But people don't want to hear that. Everybody in this world looks for the wonder pill. And I can be very straightforward about this. Guys, we're not the wonder pill company. We're the company who will provide you with the supplementation your body actually needs, and for you to be able to transparently see if our product works. And this is, again, the feedback loop for our users is what sets us apart, because we're the majority of the supplement market is the following. Imagine the supplements that you buy off the shelf have a margin of 95%. So the ingredients don't cost anything. What do they do with 95%? The rest. Well, part of it they pocket, but part of it is they're going to put in marketing. How do they market it? They market it, hey, you're going to feel great, you're going to look great. Look at those people on the beach smiling, running around. They sell you a dream. They sell you hope, right? We don't want to sell you hope. We're trying to provide you results. So the approach for us is the reason why we use Swiss-made granules. So every Bionic product is manufactured in Switzerland, because in Switzerland, the requirements for supplementation is the same as for pharmaceuticals. So we have pharma-grade products made in Switzerland, provided to our users worldwide. That allows us to be sure that it's safe and efficient, and the user knows that he gets the highest quality in the market.
So the requirements are greater in Switzerland than other places when it comes to manufacturing supplements.
Than anywhere. So,
and what does that mean? What does that mean that the requirements are higher? Like they need to make sure they're honest about what is actually in there. The manufacturing facility has a certain level of what does it mean?
So we're starting with manufacturing facility. So they have the ICO. So they have the requirements, certification levels are pharmaceutical grade. Then the regulatory levels in terms of safety and cleanness at site. Then the inspection levels, the audits. So they have technical audits, product audits on site. The interval of them, how often they happen. And then you have the transparency on the labels and the batch sample sizes that they have to go through each and several times. So we are VADA approved, so the World Anti-Doping Agency approved. So every single batch was approved. Not every, the batches are approved by VADA. So every single batch that comes from their facility can be used by Olympic athletes. That's awesome. And that's kind of like the level, and that's kind of the comfort that I have. This is the reason why some of the world's most famous athletes are using Bionic for years. And most of them are now becoming more and more public about it. They've been using it for years, which of course is a great sign for us. But it also supports our thesis that at the end, quality will always win. It's not about the one sale. It's about building a relationship, building trust. And then the people who have been using the product for years will come out publicly and will then also want to not just take the product, but be part of the product, be part of the journey.
Yeah, no, I love it. And you started to talk about how y'all's product are granules, if I'm saying that correctly. What a lot of people, I think, and me too, is when you think about supplements, we either think like pill or maybe a powder or something like that. but you never really see granules all that often, or at least that regularly. It's definitely not. What is the importance of the form that the supplement itself takes?
So the granules it's a patent technology in Switzerland. So the reason why you haven't seen it because it's patented. So the founder of the technology 25 years ago was working actually at a competitor who would sell pills. And during the research, he realized that when people take pill forms, what happens in the body, there's a toxicity spike. So when you take regular pills, vitamin pills, what they do is they put starch in it. Starch spikes your insulin for you to absorb the ingredients. What people don't realize is that starch spike that they're receiving is so big that if you're in a fasted state, it kicks you out of fasting. There's carbs in there that if you take like all those biohackers now on Instagram when they have 30 pills in your hand, that's like eating a croissant. Like you wouldn't put vitamins in a croissant, right? That defeats the purpose. But given the amount of starch that are in that amount of pills, it's actually counterproductive to take those pills as they are. So it's either starch or there's gelatin, which is it's bone, it's pig bone, basically what they put in there for the vitamin pills. So we said we want to use something that doesn't cause any negativity, no toxicity, and doesn't cause any spikes in insulin. So you can take our product during your fasted state. It will not kick you out of the fasted state. Now, the granules are prebiotics. So the prebiotics are good for your digestion. So the way this works is because it's granules, you can take all those components at once without causing blockages, and they are being absorbed in your body over time. So instead of taking 40 different pills, you take 2 scoops in the morning and a scoop in the evening, and it covers all your day of vitamins without having to take any other pills. So it allows you to take something easier, it allows you to take less of it, and it allows you to take it in a form that doesn't cause toxicity. And this is the reason why we use Swiss granules. And hopefully the world will realize that the standard vitamin, or even worse, when they give gummies to children, it's literally the anti-action where you're trying to heal people or support people, and you give them in a form that causes more harm than it causes good. And this is part of our educational process. I'm like, hey guys, don't take something that causes toxicity. Take something that causes benefits.
Gotcha. So the starch in the pills and the gelatin in the pills are two of the things that either starch for the most part kind of might kick you out of a fasted state and increase your insulin levels a little bit. But what are the negative side effects of the gelatin in the pills? Do you know?
It's a gelatin. There's not. So the negative side effects is it's just, well, it's not a high quality product. It's something that remains after the butcher. So it's one of those things that is a remainder that's being used to transport things. So it's not something that you would normally put in your body.
So there's just no value. There's just no value to it.
There is no value. It's no value there.
So how are the granules prebiotic? Because so prebiotic is essentially something that helps feed your gut microbiome, feed the bacteria in your gut. Like how we think of usually fibrous foods are prebiotic foods that feed the gut. How are those prebiotic?
So basically the granules are guar, which is a prebiotic form, which is, as you said correctly, it's something that it helps you with your digestion side of your body. So it's an organic form of a guar that absorbs the supplementation, comes on top of it.
Is it GUAR? Is that how you spell that? Guar? Okay, cool. Awesome. I've never heard that before. Also, you talked about how somebody might have to take 10, 15 pills or whatever. And first off, that's just a pain in the ass to take.
It's 50. So the crazy part is when people take 10, they think take a lot. Based on what we see, and we see thousands of people a day, the average amount of supplementation a person needs is around 48.
Wow.
So it's not 10, it's 48.
How are you able to get what maybe somebody would need to get in a lot of different pills in such a small thing? Because if you said just 2 scoops instead of 48 pills, how do we get it so dense?
So the procedure is what makes this unique. So the guar part is the prebiotic. That's always the same volume. The ingredients of the supplements, so the microelements and the vitamins, is a powder that's being absorbed by the guar. So you have to imagine that the guar is being mixed together with the powder, absorbs the powder, and the powder will be then released inside of your body.
Mm, that's awesome. How do you describe to somebody the taste of the granules? Do they taste like anything or anything like that?
I call it earthy. I don't know. It's not because I ate a lot of earth in my life, but I call it earthy.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's awesome. What I saw on your website that one of the benefits of the granules is that it minimizes nutrient competition. What exactly does that mean?
So there's supplements that you cannot take at the same time. So there's certain vitamins and microelements taken at the same time block each other. Because the guar absorbs it and has a slow release, the release is never high enough for things to block each other. The reason, like you heard of people probably, hey, I take this in the morning, I take this in the afternoon, I take this in the evening,
Yeah.
it's because of the release would block the other components. With the slow release, you don't have to time your intake. You can just intake it, and the body will automatically absorb it.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. That's good to know. You know, we've talked a little bit about micronutrients on the surface level, but you know, most people have heard of macronutrients. They know protein, carbs, fats, and whatnot, and how like figuring out how much of those we should be eating. How important are micronutrients to like our overall health, our energy levels, our performance, and stuff like that?
Very simple. The reason why I'm here today is 2017. I was looking into what would be the area that I'm most interested in creating value for others by starting with myself. And my idea was I would like to optimize my overall health, right? So my aha moment came when I was 30 something, felt brain fog, felt lethargic, felt overweight, felt not as energetic as I would like to feel. And when speaking to a doctor, realized that traditional medicine is only there for treating people once they're already ill. And I didn't want to do anything preventive, and I didn't want to do anything treatment level wise. I wanted to actually optimize. I wanted to get better. And when looking into research, there was this clinical trial between 2011 and 2017 in Switzerland on Olympic athletes. And they were able to showcase the following: that if you optimize the micronutrient levels, micronutrients is vitamins and microelements in your body. When you optimize micronutrient levels to optimal levels, Olympic level athletes are on average 10 days per year less sick. Because they're 10 days per year less sick, their performance level on standardized tests grow by 6.9%. The reason for that is instead of fighting diseases and recovery and getting back into shape, they can actually train more. Like, any day, sick day kicks you back a couple of days, 2 days is 4 days, and then, it's compounding effect, right? So by being less sick per year, there humongous progress on their performance levels, including the cognitive function, which grew in terms of speed and memory by 1.5 times. When I realized that Olympic level athletes are 10 days per year less sick and have such significant improvement levels, my question was, what would happen to regular people? And data shows it's 35 to 50%. So micronutrient levels are there to optimize your capabilities cognitive and physically by first and foremost supporting your immune system of getting sick, but then also in terms of your recovery capabilities, cognitively and physically, from your workouts, from your routine, from your lifestyle, allowing you to become better at it. So when you think about micronutrients, it's preparing your body to perform.
That's great. That I think a lot of people, when it comes to their immune system or getting sick, they think that it's very much fixed, that they're not able to improve their immune system or decrease the amount of times that they get sick per year. So obviously that's proof that it is adaptable. But like, talk to us about what maybe micronutrients are shown to be most influenceable on your immune system. Like, are there specific ones that we know are most influenceable, and like how adaptable is your immune system, do you feel?
I mean, first of all, when you talk about the benefits, the majority of benefits is improvement of sleep, including depth of sleep, and the following part of that comes out, the energy level. So sleep and energy level are the two things that people very quickly start to experience when the micro levels are optimized. Then the next step would be cognitive, so you are able to focus longer. And then the final step, which takes the longest, is actual physical changes like hair, nails, because the impact like zinc has on everything in terms of skin related issues. So you will see an improvement in sleep and energy. Then you'll see an improvement in terms of cognitive functions. Then in terms of recovery, and lastly, you'll see it from a anti-aging perspective. And that's a little bit like if you put that in weeks, months, and then you're talking about 6 + 9 months and longer.
That's great. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. This has been really exciting. I love going through if you just go through the quiz and then you see like what your formula is, that in and of itself gets exciting, being like, oh wow, this is really cool. One of the things that you guys are probably kind of on the leading edge of is using AI and technology to help better personalize our supplements and our routines. Talk to us a little bit about how you guys are working on being able to integrate AI and more technology into further personalizing the experience.
Sure. I mean, listen, what we're doing is not new. I mean, for decades, any doctor would tell you, do a blood test, here's the supplements I prescribe to you. The issue was that the doctor had, on average, let's say 100, 150 patients. So the chance that he saw a lot of patients with different backgrounds and different goals, and then also had to follow up with those patients was very, very low and very, very little. In our case, when you're talking about, 160,000 plus people with continuous blood testing, we understand that a data process wise allows us as a company and our patent pending algorithm to adapt the formulas. Formula is the ingredients and the dosages more and more to levels that we know are safe, first and foremost, but then efficient. So the benefit for you as a user is the more data we have on people over time, the quicker we can give you a dosage that is personalized to your goals as accurate as possible. So over time, we understand and adapt your personalized formulas because of the AI that's being used in the back end, the machine learning, where we understand, hey, if you give this dosage, this is the result. If you give this dosage, this is the result. And then you multiply that with 160,000 plus people, and then you get to the point where we're at today, where today Bionic Go, which is our largest product with 80% of all Bionic Go users in the US, you don't even have to do a blood test as of today, because we can now, based on your 50-question questionnaire, map you against similar people in the past who did the blood testing, prognose what your blood test results would be with an 82% accuracy.
Wow.
And provide you with a formula that is custom made for you. And that was only possible because of the data, because of the AI part. That took us 5 years. So we only launched this product a year ago, after 5 years of accumulating the critical mass of data to be able to forecast those things.
Right. So it's basically the way that you've been able to get all the data is you get people's original like blood testing work, then you provide them with a formula, and then you see what the results are, and you kind of put all of that into AI and allow them to evaluate it and be like, okay, this worked, this didn't work, let's modify, etc. That's awesome. That is super cool. And I was wondering how you were able to really personalize somebody's formula even without getting their blood work, but that's awesome. And then it improves as you do it, because like then you get the feedback, you see if it was, how accurate it was or was not. That's awesome.
Like a very simple, if you would have joined Bionic 2019, it would take us probably 4 cycles. So by month 12, you would get the perfect formula for you at this given moment. If you join us now, you get it the first cycle, because we now by now understand what the adaptation is, what the absorption levels are, what in case of your demographic, with your background, with your medical history, with your lifestyle, with your dietitial preferences, what is needed for your body to get you to the point of optimal, which will then cause cognitive and physical capabilities to improve and your sick risk to lower.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, this has been so much fun and so educational and insightful. I think one of the things that I hope a lot of people take away from this is that the personalization side of supplementation is critical, and it provides benefits all along the time spectrum. It can provide you with improved energy levels and sleep pretty darn quickly. You can improve your recovery, and then it will help with anti-aging long term. And there are so many different benefits of it, but you need to make sure that you're getting as personalized approach as possible to maximize the actual results that you're actually going to get from it. You guys can go follow Vadim on Instagram at Vadim_Bionic. I'll have that linked in the show notes down below. And then you can go to take this free quiz that we've been talking about as well at bioniq.com, which is bioniq.com. Super interesting stuff and really cool to see what your formula is after taking that quiz. Any other place where people should go learn more about you and Bioniq or anything like that?
I mean, our Instagram account, Bionic CO. We have a lot of information there, a lot of interesting content there. But yeah, listen, as you said correctly, the best part of it, go on bioniq.com, take the questionnaire. You'll see a recipe for free. If you like and you think it's value, go buy it yourself. You don't have to buy it through us. We're trying to provide value for people to understand what the ideal formula would be at this given moment. And if you decide to use it from us, great, makes us even happier. But again, the idea here is let's break the current system where people buy things off the shelf that most likely, A, they don't need, and B, will not cause any positive effects, or even worse, might cause something that they're not looking for.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate this today. I think hopefully a lot of people get a lot of insight with regards to the efficacy of supplementation that they can get off the shelf versus the supplementation that they can get from actually a personalized approach like you guys have through Bioniq. So you guys make sure you go take that quiz at bioniq.com. Go follow Vadim and Bioniq on Instagram. We'll have that all in the show notes down below. Make sure you follow the podcast if you haven't yet already on Apple Podcasts app and on Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit like and subscribe down below. But Vadim, that's all we got today, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick. Cheers, mate.
That episode with Vadim was a game changer for anyone looking to optimize their health through smarter supplementation. The insights into personalized healthcare and supplementation, the importance of granule-based formulas, and the role that AI is creating as a tailored approach to health was incredibly eye-opening to me. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the follow button if you're listening on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. And don't forget to book your 30-minute free call with me where we can do a health consultation and come up with a clear plan for you and your goals by going to nickcarrier.com. Again, book a call with me by going to nickcarrier.com. But here are my 3 biggest takeaways from today's conversation. Number 1, most off-the-shelf supplements are not going to be effective because they're just not personalized to your specific body size, your needs, your lifestyle, and your goals. Number 2 is that micronutrients play a crucial role in overall health. We oftentimes just think about macros, but micronutrients are really important, and the right supplementation can help fill critical gaps. And then third and finally, the future of health optimization is going to be largely influenced by technology like AI, which enables hyper-personalization to deliver better results because you can input something, see what results, and then the AI can tweak your personal formula based off of the results that you're getting from their previous formula. If you can do some of these things and you can find more appropriate supplementation for you and just better overall personalized healthcare, then you'll continue to get closer to the healthiest version of yourself and ultimately closer and closer to your best